Hello everyone, today we're going to have fun with Surround Sound SEO. We are surroundsoundseo.com, and for your convenience we're going to break this long presentation down into shorter modules and 1-minute shorts for our YouTube channel and our website, so do feel free to visit those locations. What is Surround Sound SEO? Being number one is great, being everywhere is better. We borrowed that from Patrick Herbert, the founder of Singularity Digital Marketing, who often writes on the SEMrush blog. Surround sound marketing is a concept first discussed by Alex Burkett, formerly of HubSpot, on the HubSpot blog. And a quick overview is the idea of multiple URLs for your brand on a search engine result page for a given keyword. In this presentation, we're going to go over some of our own internal private case studies and the way that my organization organizes surround sound SEO campaigns into types. We're going to cover a Type 1 campaign in the influencer marketing industry. We're going to cover a case study number 2, which is a combination of surround sound Type 1 with Type 2 in the e-commerce industry. We're also going to do a case study 3, take a look at the Type 2 campaign associated with a local marketing transactional keyword campaign. We're going to look at another 4th case study, which is a Type 3 surround sound campaign for SRM, or Search Reputation Management. Then we'll go to case study 5, which is a very brief look at an advanced full stack, all of the above campaign, how we include all types of keywords in a Type 5 surround sound campaign. In this presentation, I'll go deeper into the technical definition of surround sound, how to track it and which tools I use, the 5 types of surround sound campaigns with the keywords we use for them, the flywheel keyword concept for review keywords and search rep management, the best content formats, the best types of headlines, and we'll go over some platforms. One thing I do want to say is that SEMrush has an amazing tool to track your surround sound campaign. We couldn't really organize and manage our campaigns without it. Simply go to your control panel in SEMrush. On the drop-down menu, where it says Extra Tools, you'll see the beta for the Surround Sound tool. So who am I? Quickly, my name is Russell Wright. I've been in the SEO space for 17 years. I founded 2 software companies focusing on SEO keywords and clients. I created the first co-occurrence keyword research tool in 2007 called ThemeZoom. I created an SEO certification training course, actually several of those over the last few years, taught thousands of students worldwide. Some of those graduates are very well-known SEOs today. Some are confused about the technical meaning of surround sound SEO because there's a lot of buzz about this right now. Here's a clear path to understand the meaning and the levels of this concept. So let's talk about surround sound marketing strategies. The more people hear about your product from different sources, the more they'll start to take it seriously as something they need to check out, and the number of mentions from different sources increases the probability of a purchase. This is from Alex's slideshow presentation with SEMrush and Elisa's interview. Again, here's that diagram, the idea of multiple HubSpot URLs for a search engine result page keyword. We also have to keep in mind when you think about marketing strategy for surround sound, not just SEO, but the overall marketing strategy, this whole ad awareness thing, where the intent increases with more exposure. Sometimes you've heard it 32 times, 50 times, 100 times. Your prospect, client, or customer needs to hear about your brand before they take action. Here's another great graphic by Chris Dickey from Visibly. Huge shout out to them. This shows you that the awareness, consideration, purchase, retention, and advocacy stage has multiple touch points and types of media along the path. This is basically a mofu, tofu, bofu, middle of funnel, top of funnel, bottom of funnel, tilted to its side so you can see the transaction touch points. Also, Google itself is starting to get on the bandwagon with conversations about surround sound SEO. The chief marketing officer at Google published this viral article. It's gotten quite popular. Stacy's car buying journey includes over 900 digital touch points in 3 months. There's 139 Google searches, 14 YouTube views, 89 images, 69 dealer interactions, and so on. So much so that Google has its own internal language for these touch points. They're called micro moments. The I want to know moments, the I want to go, I want to do, and I want to buy inside the funnel. By the way, surround sound is not omni-channel marketing. I toss this in here because many of the clients and larger organizations we've worked with have not understand the distinction. And one of the things I want to say is that you can definitely 10x your surround sound SEO rankings across thousands of keywords if the omni-channel integration and the SEO team understands the principles of surround sound. Surround sound SEO is also not simply link building and outreach. In this presentation, we're going to go into more than just listicles and how to organize different types of keywords in the campaign. However, you can organically grow your high domain authority links and earned media promotions. So again, surround sound SEO is when a brand is ranked on the search engine result page with multiple URLs for any given keyword. So a single search engine result page, a single keyword, and multiple URLs. Again, the definition of a campaign would be more of that, dominating multiple search engine result pages for that keyword. Multiple types of keywords at various search engine result pages along the buyer's journey, like we saw with the Google funnel, and multiple desirable URLs associated with it. So we'll get into the 5 types of surround sound SEO campaigns and how we translate actions and a great content and inbound marketing plan onto a large grid surround sound top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. Type 1 surround sound campaign is the middle of the funnel. That's the consideration stage. SEMrush commercial keywords are primarily used for us during that stage. A type 2 surround sound campaign is conversion keyword optimization. They're at the bottom of the funnel, mostly using transactional keywords and content. Type 3 is reconsideration keyword optimization. We call those flywheel keywords or review keywords. We'll go over that more in a moment. A type 4 surround sound campaign is brand awareness, top of funnel. We call these free information keywords. We'll talk about why here in a moment. A type 5 campaign we simply call smart or all of the above. Funnel keywords, flywheel keywords, and everything else in the funnel. Before we get into all that first, though, it's a good idea to talk about the legacy sales funnel model. Top of funnel was awareness stage. Remember this model? The user has not really defined the problem. There's a lot of free information, a lot of how-to type keywords and sentences typed into the search engine, or even definitions. Charitable content, because this is the slowest type of transaction velocity, because the user has not really determined what their problem is fully or how to solve it. They don't know all of their choices and they're not in the comparison stage yet. But it does develop brand awareness if you can provide free information, useful information, or tips. MOFU, middle of the funnel, is the consideration stage. At this point, the user is considering specific options now, possibly even yours. The user understands the problem and the possible solution. The user needs to be aware of your product or brand as an option if you've done your job well up to this point. Then there's the bottom of the funnel, or the decision stage. At this stage, the user is ready to buy and needs a nudge. They need some more reassurance and oftentimes trust, and it's here where the user reads customer and expert reviews and is influenced by what we call flywheel keywords. This is the keyword magic tool at SEMrush. This is a critical tool for us before we use the surround sound SEO tracking tool because of the intent column as well as many other features. This tells us what type of keyword we're using and oftentimes which type of content to put it in and where in the funnel, which we'll see later. So the way to think about it is you use the keyword research tool in SEMrush, you map it onto the legacy sales funnel model by understanding how it works, and then you connect that to the 5 types of keyword intent that's plainly laid out for you in SEMrush. Now, one thing I do want to say is that we've added a new type of keyword at the bottom of the funnel called the flywheel keyword, which is basically a transactional keyword as laid out by SEMrush. But we simply set aside any keywords that have the word review or reviews associated with it. Here's another way to look at it. We start with the middle of the funnel because that is the consideration stage, and the commercial keywords are involved. Inside of that, there is the conversion or the bottom of the funnel. Again, this is still the traditional funnel model. This is a type 2 surround sound campaign because we focus on transactional keywords when we're tracking them in SEMrush's surround sound tool. Then we have flywheel keywords, which is a type of transactional keyword, mostly review or flywheel keywords. If it contains the word review and reviews and a few others, we watch those very closely. Brand awareness keywords is the top of the funnel. We didn't start with this because top of the funnel has a slower transactional velocity, and we want to make sure we're regarding the middle of funnel and bottom of funnel first because you can easily create content that you've generated from those others for the top of the funnel later on when you're ready. So if you were to take this onion diagram, tofu, mofu, bofu, and map on the SEMrush keywords, it would look something like this. Informational intention, navigational intention, commercial intention, transactional intention, and a deeper transactional keyword would be a flywheel keyword, which is essentially review type keywords. So that's what we're really talking about here, and this slide will be available for you to look at and download and for your consideration for various campaigns. Let's drill deeper into the 5 types of keyword intent. Informational keywords as laid out by SEMrush. The user wants to find an answer to a specific question. There's a lot of how-to things, or what is, or define, what is CMS, or definitions in a Google query. Then there's the navigational keywords. Navigational keywords include things like pet odor eliminator Walmart or pet odor eliminator Target. They're navigational according to SEMrush because they're looking for a specific page. Now what's cool is in SEMrush it can be a navigational keyword but also be a transactional keyword. So you're able to lay it out for both types of content in a surround sound campaign. There's also commercial keywords. The user wants to investigate brands or services. We'll get into more of what that is, but we consider commercial keywords that are important are things like best. They're very much part of the consideration stage that you want to dominate. Transactional keywords and platforms. The user wants to complete an action or a sale. This comes up with the T icon next to it inside the SEMrush keyword tool. And then of course our flywheel keywords is if it contains the word review or reviews, then it should be flagged as flywheel, which is basically a type of transactional keyword in SEMrush. It's important to focus on flywheel keywords and be very, very aware of them because these are keywords that are oftentimes associated with user-generated content. These users are not just any old user out there. These are users, probably customers that have already been through your sales funnel, and they can dissuade or hijack your entire sales process by saying things that are bad about your brand. Or they could be keywords from content that's generated that is fake, such as fake reviews and so on. Therefore, they deserve some special attention for a search reputation managed campaign, including a full stack surround sound campaign. By the way, please do dig deeper into keyword intent as laid down by SEMrush. Read Marcus Tober's work, Keyword Intent, What You Need to Know About Customer Search, the 4 types of keywords and why they matter. Let's study case study 1, agency services. This is a type 1 surround sound campaign. Consideration phase, middle of funnel, commercial keywords. International and national keywords in this particular type of campaign. You can see here in the keyword magic tool from SEMrush, best influencer marketing agency. Best influencer marketing agencies show up as a commercial intent on the keyword tool. Here's an example. We are not going to mention our client, but the keyword that we're looking at here is best influencer marketing agency. There are many, many more keywords in this campaign. This market is hyper and super saturated with listicles. If you don't know, listicles are any kind of website where you can pay or do outreach, white hat outreach for any type of ranking or article or mention on that page. In this particular market, the influencer marketing agency market, there's hundreds of keywords that have listicles dominating the top search engine result pages for individual keywords, especially the best and these types of keywords. One of the things that we've noticed is that when there's a huge amount of competition for outreach and listicles, eventually they dominate even the non-best terms. They even start to create strange effects or high strangeness for terms that are not middle of the funnel normally and even turn those into sort of middle of the funnel. But that's beyond the scope of this talk. But I do want you to get the general idea here. On the screen to the left, you can see that our client has done outreach on a variety of different platforms like clutch.co, peer-to-peer-marketing.co, no good, and the rest. Now, there's many, many other people on those pages. Another thing for you to be aware of is that a lot of services out there have a pay-per-click type internal software, and they charge you pay-per-impression or pay-per-click. So it might cost you a pretty penny now to bid on a high ranking inside the actual page. So this is a topic for a different conversation, but this is this type of campaign. And again, yes, you do dominate the middle of the funnel or consideration phase in some cases, but you're also, depending upon the industry, dealing with a huge amount of competition, which is why we encourage you to utilize other types of keywords. Let's go to the case study number 2, e-commerce brands and products. For an e-commerce product, especially one who's dominating on Amazon or Walmart or Target, we like to combine a type 1 campaign, consideration keywords, with a type 2 campaign, bottom of funnel keywords. In this case, we're using Angry Orange Eliminator. An example of using SEMrush's Surround Sound SEO tool to track and discover opportunities for non-brand middle of funnel or middle of funnel keywords for Angry Orange. Again, we're talking about the consideration phase. Here are some of the keywords that we could track using the Surround Sound SEO tracking tool that I showed you earlier on the drop-down menu. It's very, very helpful, and it's possible to use this any way that your organization sees fit. When it comes to commercial tracking, we utilize the brand sentiment for a variety of different things. Even though our client may have done outreach or paid for some of these lists on the listicles, it's still important to know how to use it. In this case, we handled Amazon competition by a smiley face if our client was number one on the list on the site. Sometimes that costs money, sometimes it didn't, but you get the idea. There's a variety of different ways to use this tool, and you can customize it based on which type of surround sound campaign you're doing. So an e-commerce surround sound campaign, just a sneak peek on the inside. This campaign was an innovative Amazon technology created by my business partner, Jimmy Kelley, and was utilized to push Amazon URLs worldwide. It's kind of an aside. We produced a 10x increase of sales and steady improvement of bestseller rank or BSR, and we did that by increasing the rankings of all the Amazon URLs as well as many others. We used it to track the campaigns of any listicles predominant in the pet odor market, and boost listicle sites ranked inside Google's People Also Ask and main search engine result pages. Now, full disclosure here. When we did this campaign in 2020, we did not have Surround Sound SEO tool from SEMrush. And so what we did is we back engineered that successful campaign and decided to ask ourselves how much more effective we would have been if we'd had the Surround Sound SEO tool from SEMrush available. We would have had much easier tracking capabilities, much more competitive analysis, and it would have been far better for us to be able to report to our client the multiple URLs that we had actually moved, which were impossible to track with the limited tools we had at the time. We also can track the competitors in the pet odor space, which was very, very helpful. So we can track the buyer transactional keywords on a separate campaign, which is really, really cool. For example, you can spin the data cube. We were able to follow or track any of Angry Orange's competitors as if they were also our client, and turn the data cube around and find out where the brand sentiment differs, where the multiple rankings around a keyword differ, where the coverage and mentions differ, and where the visibility is better or worse, and improve those metrics before we were reporting them to our client. Let's move on to case study 3. Local transactional keywords. We call this as a type 2 again. This is conversion because we're at the bottom of the funnel. This is a transactional keyword. You can tell it's transactional because it's RV winterization near me and RV winterization kits and RV winterization local. So these are the type of local keywords that our partners at WinQuest Solution, who focuses exclusively on local using something called the reputation surge and local surge. This is a technology we created together that allows you to dominate multiple URLs on a specific search engine result page. In this case, it was the RV industry. So with this campaign, he created multiple local keywords that have this type of monopoly like you see on the right. We used several platforms to create this. We called this Surround the Camp before Surround Sound SEO became popular. As you can see from our YouTube channel going back almost all the way to 2007, we've been utilizing a lot of the principles that are now known as Surround Sound, but we're glad that it has a new definition. We also use platforms like SoundCloud, Google Sites, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. We also use Google Business Profile. One of the specializations of WinQuest Solution is to optimize an entity to allow the right side of the screen, we're talking over here, to pop. And when you get this entity to pop within a 200, 500 mile radius, the local client is extremely happy because it takes up a huge amount of real estate. We do consider that as part of the Surround Sound campaign. And of course, almost always the client has their site as number one, which is important, has the highest click-through. So you can insert as many types of platforms here as you want, depending upon the type keyword. But in some of our advanced training and the likes, we'll get into which types of platforms we use for which type of keywords on which type of campaigns. Let's jump into case study 4, which is far more sophisticated. We call this the Search Reputation Management, or SEMrush also calls it SRM. We call this the reconsideration keyword optimization, or the flywheel, for review keywords. Here's a little overview. We did have to redact every aspect of this campaign because it's still active, but it gives you the idea. On the left, we're using SEMrush's Surround SEO keyword tools. You can see we're tracking bottom of funnel and flywheel funnel keywords. You can see up here on the right side, you can watch the results of anything from 10 to 30 URLs around a given keyword. But this tool also tracks all those URLs across multiple keywords and gives an amazing display that allows you to deal with all of the information and data on the data cube coming from it. And on the right, you can see one of the keywords, which was a critical one, which is a brand reviews keyword. And we're going to talk about how we handled that and some of the things we did to execute an SRM campaign. But before we get into that specific case study, I want to talk just a little bit more about flywheel or review keywords so it makes more sense to you. Search reputation management requires an even better understanding of flywheel type transactional keywords like review. The reason is that Google is actually starting to handle them differently. They're responding to flywheel keywords and review content and review platforms with ongoing global algorithmic updates and a whole lot more control. And as you'll see upcoming, you'll begin to understand why. You can look at all these new updates that have been coming out, the Google product reviews especially, the EAT, the Google helpful content, and the like. What's really going on here? Google also has incredibly strict rules and upcoming protocols associated with flywheel review type keywords and especially the platforms and review aggregators, well, like Trustpilot. And it's really, really hard to get approved by Google to deal with reviews. And remember, organizations like Trustpilot can use fair use clauses to rank for your brand and your brand-review keywords. This gives them a huge advantage, and essentially, I have to be careful how I say this, but they can hold your brand hostage if you haven't actively and proactively taken charge of your rankings and your SEO. Flywheel keyword languages, good or bad, is used by current and previous customers, not just necessarily optimizing for content on the web. These platforms will embrace user-generated content and encourage it, like Trustpilot, and that user-generated content, good or bad, will contribute to the ranking of your brand. Think about this for a second. Review sites use content generated by users, good or bad, to rank for your brand and oftentimes outrank your own website. So now that we've mapped SEMrush keywords onto traditional sales models, top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel, let's look at what I mean by flywheel reconsideration keywords even more. Controversy surrounds the funnel flywheel model as though they're mutually exclusive or opposed. That's why I'm covering it more. Go ahead and look at the HubSpot videos on YouTube. Transforming funnels to flywheels to grow better. Grow better by moving from funnel to flywheel. You'll see a whole bunch of controversy as if the sales funnel model is bad and the flywheel model is better. None of that's really true. They're all part of one continuum. So the main thing to understand is this from an SEO perspective. The bottom of the funnel, is where the client or customer or product purchaser needs final reassurance and trust. They're almost ready to take a transaction. They've already are aware of your brand. They already know what kind of problem they need. They've gone past the consideration phase and they're zooming in on your brand as a final act to make the transaction. But it's at that stage where negative reviews and professional reviews kill the transaction, massively so. So it's a post-funnel operation. Therefore, we consider a post-funnel transaction. And this is very important to understand. So the ability to track that entire process is critical to SRM, Surround Sound campaign. So within that example, here's some of the things that we were asked to do. We needed to drown out negative reviews and dominant items and raise or increase the rankings of dozens of positive items and positive types of content. And in this situation, there were fake reviews for our client around the topic keyword reviews on a variety of different review keywords. So the first thing we did is we focused on the review keywords, pushing down the fakes. Here's some of the things that we did. We ranked the Google Biz profile for brand reviews. That's this over here on this side. When we first got to this account, they were ranked within a 100-mile area of their business. By the time we were done, they were ranked nationally and in some cases internationally for this real estate. This is a large piece of real estate, and therefore we were required to focus also on the reviews. We helped the organization pay more attention to the reviews coming through the Google business profile or the Google brand profile. And we increased the type of reviews by 10x. Half of this is just awareness about reviews and making sure that someone in the organization is answering them and following up. It's not about getting them all positive reviews or making sure that they deal with the negative reviews. It's just as important. We also pushed an affiliate website to #1 for client plus reviews and a variety of other keywords as well. We placed podcasting websites in Google's People Also Asked. In here, it's possible to boost via schema and a variety of other methods the Google's People Also Ask area. We also use Quora 1 and 2. Quora ranked number 1 and 2 for dozens. It was actually far more than dozens of keywords for brand plus reviews. This is really, really huge because we are also able to pretty much control internally all of the Quora answers through our proprietary relationships and our understanding of the Quora platform as it relates to Google. Then we focused on Trustpilot. Okay, we helped the client clean up their Trustpilot account. We also helped them understand how to interact with Trustpilot reviews, and once they had received a very high positive Trustpilot status, we were able to boost Trustpilot for hundreds of keywords. And this is very helpful to push down the negative reviews and brand jackers that were on this page. We also then added a video carousel later on. This took a little bit more work, but it also pushed down a whole lot of other negative reviews. So I do want to add here, because this is important, and a lot of proprietary technology we're building, is that biggest inoculation from flywheel keyword ranking problems, negative reviews and reputation negatives, is video testimonials. Video testimonials are by far the best way to start taking control of the psychological factors and the persuasion factors, if you will, that happen from review sites and the stronghold they tend to have over your brand. We like to take video testimonials, and we've coined a term in-house called video testimonials or testimonial SEO, and we like to send them out to the network. And the idea is that pretty much any point of contact with your brand is only one step away from video testimonials. That takes quite a bit of work and quite a bit of setup in a full stack surround sound campaign. We like to use SEMrush's Surround Sound SEO tool to track domains and keywords of brand jackers, squatting on the client's personal name or brand. It's just a very, very useful tool to do that. Here's an example of one keyword, even though everything's redacted, where the competitor kept coming back. And some of our keywords have the competitor listed in position 3, 4, 5, various positions, depending on what the keyword. We're able to zoom in and focus on that. And then as we execute a surround sound campaign to increase the rankings of brand sites, we have much easier control over the data cube. That is the ability to look at the entire pile of terms and keywords and negatives and push up the positive ones doing traditional SEO. And we use a variety of different SEMrush tools for that, not just surround sound SEO, but it's the easiest tracking device for SRM. In an SRM type of surround sound SEO campaign, here's some of the things that we can do. We can track multiple bottom of funnel keywords, reviews, and there's also a keyword that has the word alternatives in it. That's arguably a transactional keyword and arguably a flywheel keyword. We also can track multiple URLs for that keyword. We can track the brand mentions for the keyword, which is really, really useful. We have a separate person go through and fill out all of the mentions. By the way, the surround sound tool from SEMrush has a mention browser plugin that allows you to even look at where on the page the mentions are, which is really amazing. And then we're able to do whatever we need to do with that. So this is a blend of reputation management and brand sentiment with SEO. And even cooler, we can track the sentiment of that mention, but we can track the links from that mention. This is an amazing hybrid of SEO and surround sound SEO with reputation management and brand sentiment management. No other tools that I know of has that kind of integration, and it's many, many years ahead of its time. You can also track competitors and brand jackers for the surround sound status. So in this case, it's redacted, but we can turn the data cube any way we want. We can take any of our clients' competitors and simply change the status, and it'll give us the competitor view as if that competitor was one of our clients. And we can see if they're doing better or worse for the various URLs, for the brand sentiment, and for anything else we want to track, including estimated traffic and coverage. Let's go a little bit deeper for those of you who are strong at heart. Surround sound SEO keyword research at scale. So type 5, we're going to get into briefly. That's all of the above, all keywords, an advanced surround sound SEO campaign. We're going to go through this very briefly, and we're going to keep it pretty shallow. But a smart advanced surround sound SEO campaign will include all layers of the customer funnel that we talked about before. And it will also include an integrated strategy for flywheel keywords and testimonial SEO, preferably video testimonial if you have it. The idea here is to remove every possible obstacle for the sales transaction. And again, as we bring this all to a close, you know that you have TOFU top of funnel keywords and platforms. You know you have MOFU middle of funnel keywords and platforms. You have the bottom of the funnel. So you have the free content or people who are just now beginning their journey. We have the consideration phase. They're starting to zoom in on you as a possible solution. We have the bottom of funnel keywords, which they're actually considering you strongly as an option. And then we have the flywheel keywords that basically checks out everybody else who's already been through your funnel. We like to do things with certain kinds of platforms. Here's a snapshot and a way we track it internally using a particular technology. And this is how we use Quora as an integrated part of a full stack surround sound campaign. The reason we use Quora, which is an answer platform, if you haven't heard of it, is because we're able to increase the transactional velocity from the top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel from Quora, because the way that Quora works. Quora actually is useful for all 3 and all 5 types of keywords, because you can repurpose the content knowing which part of the funnel you're actually creating the content and the headline for. Once we have the full content layout and we repurpose the content for top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel, we can tweet out those headlines in the appropriate locations. We can utilize Facebook where appropriate to increase social activation. Then we can integrate social clusters along the way in the funnel to make sure that the information is getting out there and is being broadcast. You consider at this point this is type of a content broadcasting system. Then we can use things like white papers, Amazon books, which really belong more in the top of the funnel because generally speaking, they're general content ideas. We can break those down into chunks and then we can execute various types of articles with content from those books and white papers. Then we can take podcasts and broadcast and YouTube channels if they exist and begin to syndicate that general content. What this does is it makes your entire team understand which type of content and headline goes on which type of platform, where in the sales funnel, and at what point in time. It makes it very easy for an entire team to coordinate and execute. And then of course with Quora, the middle of the funnel, top of the funnel, and bottom of the funnel, Quora begins to rank very quickly on Google as we begin to activate this type of brand sentiment and reputation management campaign. Later, and notice we haven't done this first, but towards the middle to the end of the campaign, we will begin looking at Trustpilot, review aggregators, and the bottom of the funnel flywheel. Understand that this is not all necessarily a sequence. Some of this may be going on all at once. We may assign brand managers to begin looking at the reputation and performing all the actions that a brand reputation manager needs to do in-house regarding its relationship to customers and how to manage that. Then Trustpilot and review aggregators begin to be targeted in the middle of the funnel. This means keywords on Google that are oriented around the middle of the funnel. We watch to see how Trustpilot and other review aggregators are actually operating, and we determine whether we push them higher in the rankings on the search engine result pages in Google. And then we move on to press releases, middle of funnel generally speaking. And we work with the press release team because they're a very powerful part of an integrated surround sound campaign. And it's so much better when the press release team, if there is one, integrates with the surround sound SEO team, because all of that is great content that can be properly executed and tagged in the type of content depending upon where you are in the funnel. That's also true for the middle of the funnel and the bottom of the funnel. As you can see here in this anecdotal diagram, everything begins to get connected, and the broadcasting and the movement of customers and clients through the various locations within the sales funnel begin to move towards the transaction. And because you've done a proper testimonial SEO campaign, their impact, especially with the video testimonial SEO campaign, is that your brand is positive and the sentiment goes very, very high at that point. Because the sentiment is so high, it's much more difficult to have your transaction jacked by either fake reviews, poor reviews, or bad review management. Later, articles and top-of-funnel content keywords and entities can be drawn, and you consistently provide support to everybody in your organization, and you provide support to your market and vertical. Your brand awareness becomes pretty strong because you start pushing articles out there, but you know where your articles go, whether it's on your site or on third-party sites. Notice that we did articles last. Many organizations and many SEOs will tell you to do articles first. We agree that writing articles for your blog and your site are good, but most of the time people do not understand what type of articles, what type of headline, where they are in the sales funnel, and what keywords are using. Meanwhile, their testimonials are poor, and their brand is getting jacked by flywheel keywords because they're too busy focusing on top of funnel articles, which are the least velocity in your transactional close for a sale. So increase your transactional velocity by combining inbound marketing and smart surround sound SEO. Strategically connect keywords, queries, and content types and platforms. You need the right SEO knowledge and the right SEO tools to properly set up a profitable surround sound SEO campaign. By the way, do please read Alex's original articles on this topic and see all the SEMrush videos on this topic, because we've barely scratched the surface of how this works. And if you have any questions or you'd like to set up an appointment and see if you're qualified to work with us, you can call me at 512-763-9300. I do have to say it's much better to text me at this number, as we have a lot going on right now, but I very much look forward to working with you. And do check out our website at surroundsoundseo.com, because we will be offering more and more training and coaching on how to execute these types of campaigns. Thank you.